Okay, sit down, because this is the kind of story that makes you go, wait, what was she thinking? So it all kicked off with this one perfectly polished Instagram post, you know the kind. Gorgeous lighting, soft focus, dreamy pink tones, a lone bottle of blush rose, artfully staged with a caption that said something vague like, moments worth savoring. No video, no emotional speech, no heartfelt tribute. And guess what day she posted this on? July 1, date. Princess Diana's birthday. Yeah, let that think in.
Princess Diana's birthday, and you're gonna launch alcohol when she died? But I mean, Princess Diana passed away from a drunk driver.
For millions of people around the world, that date is sacred. It's not just a day, it's a feeling, it's grief, it's reverence, it's remembrance, and instead of honoring that legacy, Meghan Markle dropped a bottle of alcohol into the middle of it. Like, wine? On Diana's birthday? Are you kidding? This wasn't just a bad look. It was a full-blown PR explosion. Meghan, who has spent years leaning into Diana's memory, her struggle, her womanhood, her symbolism, chose that day to push a product, not a charity, not a memorial fund, not even a message of hope, wine. And oh, the internet did not take it lightly. Let's not forget, Diana died in a car crash involving a drunk driver. So wine, really? On her birthday? Even if Meghan didn't mean it as a statement, oh, it became one real quick. People were outraged. They didn't even have to spin it. The optics were just that bad. Like Meghan had slapped a wine label right over Diana's face. And if that was the spark, baby, the fire came after. Because the moment people started digging into the actual wine, things got messy. She pitched it like it was deeply personal, crafted with love and intent. You know, California grown, hand-selected, rooted in ritual, all that poetic wellness nonsense. But plot twist, it wasn't hers at all. Online detectives found federal documents proving the wine was produced by a totally separate company, Kunda Family Winery, under Dare Nude LLC. Meghan's brand, nowhere in the actual winemaking process. This was just a slap a label on it situation. So basically, it's a rebrand. She didn't stomp grapes or even pick them. She just licensed someone else's wine and pushed it like it was her precious baby. Sure, that's legal, but emotionally, it felt like a slap in the face. People felt betrayed. It wasn't empowering, it was greedy, it was performative. Some called it a ploy to push binge drinking. Others said it was out of touch with her audience, especially the ones who admired her for being thoughtful and authentic. She sold it like it was her soul in a bottle, when really, it was just another sticker on someone else's product. And here's where it started to spiral, because if the wine wasn't really hers, what else wasn't? Cue the internet detectives again. They started going down the rabbit hole, analyzing her whole product line. The teas, the jam, the honey, all styled in that faux organic cottagecore aesthetic. You know the vibe, marble countertops, fresh herbs, peaches in a wicker basket, but under the surface, mass-produced, wholesaled, stickers slapped on and sold at a premium. And her fans, they weren't just disappointed, they were heartbroken. Meghan had always branded herself as the anti-influencer. She was supposed to be the ethical entrepreneur, the one who cared. She didn't just sell you something, she made it matter. Or so we thought. Now it just looked like another celebrity side hustle. Mark it up, make it aesthetic, cash in. The wild part, she didn't have to do it like this. If she had just said, hey, this is a curated collection from ethical producers I believe in, people might have actually loved it. But no, she pitched it as deeply hers, like it came from her heart. And that lie, that's what hurt. It wasn't the wine. It wasn't even the launch date. It was the deception. And just when the internet was reeling from this mess, something else happened, something that made jaws drop. You ready for this? So while Meghan's pink wine bottle was still fermenting in public backlash, the social event of the year was going down, Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez tied the knot in epic fashion. We're talking luxury yachts, dreamy Italian coastlines, and a guest list that read like the credits of a Marvel movie. Oprah, Kim Kardashian, Kris Jenner, Gayle King. All the elites glammed up, sipping champagne and smiling for the camera. But you know who wasn't there? Meghan and Harry. Not even a whisper. No sightings, no mentions, not even a "so sorry we couldn't attend" kind of excuse. They weren't just missing from the photos, they were missing from the conversation. And that silence, it was deafening. This is the same Meghan who spent years aligning herself with that exact crowd. She had the Netflix deal, the Spotify money, the Duchess mystique. She was supposed to be the A-list royalty hybrid, Hollywood's ethical queen. Yet when the power players gathered, she wasn't invited. And people noticed. Worse, her own mom, Doria, had once posed with Kris Jenner at a Sanchez-hosted event. Back then, it looked like Meghan was climbing the ladder, making moves, planting herself in those rooms. But now, doors were closed. And people started talking, really talking. That wine launch wasn't just tone deaf, it was a breaking point. It was so self-centered, so bizarrely timed that insiders began backing away. Meghan wasn't just out of the spotlight, she was being shut out of the very spaces she spent years curating her brand for. And to make it sting even more, there was no buzz around her wine drop, like at all. No launch party, no press, no celeb endorsement, just that lone Instagram post with the pink bottle and the usual dreamy caption. Even influencers didn't touch it. Zero momentum. And in that quiet, an old rumor resurfaced. Yep, the yacht girl stuff. For years, whispers about Meghan's yacht girl past floated around in gossip forums, half joke, half conspiracy. But now it was trending again, and not from tabloids, from former fans, people who used to defend her. Old tweets, DMs, and screenshots started making the rounds, including a 2016 post that appeared to invite her to a private yachting event in Croatia. Now, was it definitive proof? No, but that didn't matter. The internet doesn't need proof, it needs timing. And the timing couldn't have been worse, because Meghan was trying to sell herself as a clean-cut, curated entrepreneur, all elevated, all intention, and suddenly, the past she tried to scrub came crashing back like a wave. She deleted the TIG, wiped interviews, curated the perfect post-royal image, but the internet never forgets, and the people who once saw her as authentic started seeing contradictions everywhere. Meanwhile, Prince Harry tried to hold it down on the East Coast, appearing at a philanthropic summit in Manhattan, a moment that should have been powerful, a comeback, a statement. But instead, it was awkward, even sad. Harry walked on stage, sharp suit, quiet smile, but his eyes hollow, his voice flat. He mumbled something about purpose, about social media, about how Meghan was the most trolled woman in the world. But this time, it didn't land. No applause, no viral headlines, just some shaky iPhone clips and a confused crowd. Even his biggest fans could see it. The spark was gone. He looked detached, like he was going through the motions. This was supposed to be his moment, a dignified speech to reclaim relevance. But it felt like a formality, like a $500,000 gig for a name that used to mean something. He didn't look royal, he looked lost. And honestly, that's what haunted people. Not because it was shocking, but because it felt familiar. The dream, the image, the fairy tale crumbling. Their brand, which once dominated headlines and drove conversations, was now quiet, too quiet. Back in California, that as ever wine brand, dead silent. No updates, no follow-up campaigns, no influencer posts, no interviews, just that pink bottle, slowly fading into the algorithm. And for many people, that bottle became the ultimate symbol. Not of success, not of empowerment, but of everything that went wrong. So here we are, with Meghan's dreamy pink bottle just sitting there. No buzz, no movement, no purpose. It didn't represent luxury or elegance or empowerment, not anymore. It symbolized emptiness. A product trying so hard to mean something, but meaning nothing at all. A brand that screamed authenticity, but whispered performative marketing. Because let's get real, the issue wasn't just the wine. It was what it represented. Meghan had built her post-royal identity on something different: values, integrity, empowerment. She was supposed to be more than just another celebrity, more than an influencer. She was supposed to stand for something real. But this wine launch, it was private labeled. The story behind it, a facade. The rollout? Sloppy, cold, Achilles calculated. She had a whole world watching, and on Diana's birthday of all days, she dropped a bottle of booze. Not a charity fund, not a scholarship, not a heartfelt message or a new foundation, just wine. And don't forget, Diana died because someone else had been drinking, so this It didn't just feel careless, it felt cruel. And worse, it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt intentional. And that's what cut deepest. Even Meghan's staunchest defenders, the ones who had her back through thick and thin, they started pulling back, questioning, whispering. What are we even defending anymore? She had always drawn power from meaning. Every move, every post, every quote. It all felt symbolic, bigger than branding, bigger than gossip. But now, it felt hollow. A pink bottle with no soul, a speech with no weight, a brand with no trust. Because here's the truth that no amount of curation can cover up. People don't connect to perfection. They connect to flaws, vulnerability, honesty. And that's exactly what this launch didn't have. There was no honesty, no sincerity, just marketing, da-da-da-da-da, and marketing that tried to wear a costume of purpose. But if you rip off the label, there was nothing underneath. Meghan had a moment, an opportunity to do something lasting, to make a real impact. She could have used Diana's birthday to start a scholarship, launch a women's initiative, fund a program for children, anything that honored the woman whose shadow she's so often stood in. Instead, she went with wine. And now, the question that hangs in the air like the smell of overhyped rosé, what does Meghan Markle even stand for anymore? She promised to break the mold, reimagine fame, rewrite the script. But what happens when that new script starts looking exactly like the old one? Just more filtered, more expensive, less real. Because if authenticity is just another label, what's left? Meghan thought she could build a legacy through perfection. But perfection? It doesn't stick. It doesn't move people. It doesn't make headlines for the right reasons. Effort does. Truth does. Struggle, vulnerability, growth. That's what builds legacy. But this wine, it didn't have effort. It didn't have truth. It didn't even have taste. And a launch without heart doesn't leave a mark. It leaves a mess. And right now, that's all that's left.